Martio here. Welcome to another album ranking. This time it is part 2 of the Sammy Hagar story. So this is Van Halen. Van Halen, great band, one of my favourite bands, and I don't care who sings with them. I'm not one of these that I think David is best, Sammy is best. Two great singers, brought a lot to the table. What more can you say? I mean, they were formed back in '72 in Pasadena, California. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2007. So from 74 to 85 it was David Lee Roth, and then from 85 up to about 95 we had Sammy, and then the one album with Gary Cherone from Extreme, and then the reunion with David Lee Roth but no Michael Anthony. Wolfgang Van Halen took over from Michael. So in the whole, most of the albums are pretty good. As always, this is how I hear them. If you hear them different, that's great. At the end of the day, we are all Van Halen fans, and we all hear things differently. So we are going to have a look at 12 albums. So we'll get a crack in. So coming in at number 12 then is the 11th album, released in 1998. That is Van Halen III. It was the only album that featured Gary Cherone, and the last album to feature Michael Anthony. And we got Eddie and Alex, of course, doing the honours on the drums and guitars. First track on here is a little instrumental called New World. I like this. Probably the best thing on the album, actually. It's only short. It does sound like one of Eddie's little instrumentals, and it's pretty good. Next track is Without You. I don't mind this one. I do like Eddie's guitar solo in this. It's pretty good. Then we get One I Want. The song in itself is absolutely lackluster. Doesn't do anything for me, but I will say again, Eddie's solo is good. Only thing about it that I like. Then we get From Afar. Terrible song. I expect better from Gary Cherone. He's a great singer with Extreme, but this one that's horrible. Dirty Water Dog. Alex's drums are horrible in this. I don't know what they were doing. It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound like Alex. Once. This is probably the worst song that Van Halen have ever recorded. I can't say anything good about it. Firing the Hole. Again, probably as a normal track, this is probably my favourite track on here. It does actually sound like a proper Van Halen track. Even Gary's voice sounds good on this. Great guitar solo from Eddie. Pretty cool. Josephina. Oh, this is painful. I just can't listen to that track. Year to the Day. We've got Gary trying to sound like Sammy. Don't try it, because you can't do it. Primary is another instrumental, a minute and a half. I like this. I like Michael's bass line on this. Great bass player. Ballot or the Bullet. The solo's good, but the rest of it's pretty mediocre. And the last track, How Many Say. It's just a dirge, and I just don't like it. There's a handful of songs on here that are worth listening, but and that includes 2 instrumentals. So it's an album I just don't play, and I'm so glad they had that reunion, because if this had been their last album, it would have been terrible. I never felt play this album. I played it not so long ago to rank it, and I thought, okay, let's see if I can find something good about it. Yeah, I gave up in the end. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 1 out of 10. Okay, from now on in, the albums are good. I like all the albums coming in now. So, but obviously, if yours is at the bottom of this little pile, it doesn't mean I don't dislike it. I just prefer the other ones. So coming in at number 11, we have the 10th album released in 1995. And this is Sammy's last album with the band Balance, and it's for the last time that Michael Anthony plays on the whole album, because on the Van Halen 3 and he played a little bit. So we got Sammy Hagar, Eddie Van Halen, Michael Anthony and Alex Van Halen. The 7th Seal, solid track. Love Eddie's guitar work on this, and Sammy sounds good as ever. Can't Stop Loving You. Okay, this is a little bit of an MTV sort of track, but what I like about Van Halen, they do come up with good poppy rock songs, and this is a good one. I like the guitar licks in this, it's pretty good. Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do. Love the opening riff on this. It's not a bad track at all. Let me get my favourite track on this album, Amsterdam. I love this track. I love the guitar work on it, and I think Sammy's vocal is really strong on this. Really good track. Big Fat Money. It's an okay track. The guitar solo on it is fantastic. Then we get one of Eddie's little instrumentals, but this one's not very good. It's not the best one he's done. Then we get Not Enough. Good track. Another great solo from Eddie. Can't get any better than that. Aftershock, solid track. Again, some nice vocal from Sammy. Michael Anthony's harmonies are brilliant, which you do miss. Doing Time is another instrumental, but this is a showboat for Alex, showing how his drumming skills. And then we got Bolterism. So it's quite nice little instrumental again. Take Me Back, Deja Vu, solid track, nothing wrong with that one. Feeling Love, Michael Anthony's bass line on this, absolutely are awesome. It's not a bad track. Great solo on this as well. Okay, this is probably the least favourite of my Van Hagar era of Van Halen's albums, but I do like the album. It's got some solid stuff on, and I do like to give it a listen. And when I did play it the other week, I really enjoyed listening to it again. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay then, coming in at number 10, we've got the 5th album, released in 1982. It's Diver Down. This is David Lee Roth, Eddie Van Halen, Michael Anthony, Alex Van Halen. And additional personnel on this is Iain Van Halen on the clarinet on Big Bad Bill. Opens up with a cover of a Kinks song, Where Have All the Good Times Gone. I actually like this version. I don't mind their version of it. It's pretty good. Hang 'em High, love this track. Bass line from Michael is just great. Superb track. Cathedral is a little instrumental again from Eddie, and it's really nice. Secrets. Now this is a little bit different from Van Halen at the time. There's some really nice harmonies, nice bass line, and a good vocal from David. Then we get another little instrumental piece called Intruder. This is showboating for Michael and Alex. Pretty good. Then we get Roy Orbison's "Oh Pretty Woman." It's not a bad version. I like Eddie's interpretation of the guitar work on this. It's pretty good. Then we get "Dancing in the Street." Am I the only one that cannot stand this? I think it's a terrible cover. I've heard better covers than Mamas and Papas did a great one, and I love David Bowie and Mick Jagger's version. But this song was not made to be made like sound like this. Just ruins it. Sorry, I do not like it. Then we get Little Guitar's intro, which is a 42 acoustic piece that goes straight into Little Guitars. It's okay, but I wouldn't say it's brilliant. Then we get Big Bad Will is Sweet William now. Now this was written by Milton Ager, written in 1924, and they give this the full jazzy sounding orchestra feel to it, and it's really good. I like that track. It's a little bit different, but I do like that sort of sound, and I think they do a really good job of that song. Then we get The Full Bug, my favourite track on the album. What's good about this is the bass line and the Eddie Van Halen guitar work. It's just electric. Happy Trails, one of these barbershop things, and just a bit of a filler, and personally I don't like it. Okay, this has always again been my least favourite of the David Lee Roth era. I like the original tracks; they are really good. Some of the covers are all right, but there's one or two bits on here that just don't think. I think it was a bit of a cheapskate album, to be quite honest. You know, after the one that they did before, they come up with this. It's not particularly grand, as I say, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.6. Okay, then coming in at number 9, we have the 12th and final album, released in 2012, A Different Kind of Truth. This is the return of David Lee Roth. We've got Eddie Van Halen on guitar, Wolfgang Van Halen on the bass, and Alex Van Halen on the drums. First track on here is Tattoo. It's alright. I do like the harmonies, and the guitar work, but it's not particularly a favourite on the album of mine. But then we get She's a Woman, and I love this. This is my favourite track on this album. The bass line from Wolfgang is amazing. It's a good old-fashioned rocker from Van Halen. David's voice sounds pretty cool on this as well. It's a really good song. You and Your Blues, it's not too bad. It's listenable. It's not particularly brilliant. Chinatown, I like the music of this. It's fast, it's furious. Okay, David struggles sometimes with the vocals, but given his age, I'm not going to tell away, he still gives a great performance, even though he does struggle a little bit. Blood and Fire, I like the track, and I think David's voice is a little bit suffering, but you can't not this guy. He comes out and he gives it his all, you know, and that's all you need. You know, he came and did a great job, and it's not a bad track. Bullet Head, more great guitar from Eddie, brilliant stuff that is, as is great drumming from Alex, and a superb solo from Eddie. Honey Baby, Sweet Tea Doll, I love David's voice on this. It's a bit of a growly voice, and it sounds really good on the track. Really, really strong track that is. The Trouble with Nether, reasonable track, nothing wrong with it. I do like the bass line from Wolfgang though, pretty good. Outer Space, solid enough track, but unfortunately the vocals on this are a little bit rough. I think he really struggled on that one. No. Stay Frosty, another good boogie track. Again, David does a fine job on the vocals. Great work from Eddie as ever. Big River, solid track again. Nothing wrong with that one. It's got some nice guitar work. And then Beats Working ends the album. Solid track and another really good, strong vocal performance from Dave Lee Roth. It's not too bad. I think this is a great way for the band to sign off. Okay, as I said, David's vocals are a little bit off kilter in places, but the thing that I like about this, they try to capture that great sound that they had, and they didn't do a too bad job. Again, it was that we didn't know that this would be the last time we'd hear Eddie Van Halen on an album. His guitar work on this is pretty awesome all the way through, and I think Wolfgang did a great job on the bass, and I'm so glad that they come back just to do this one final album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 8 we have the 9th album from 1991 for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. Again, this features Sammy Hagar, Eddie Van Halen, Michael Anthony and Alex Van Halen. I saw them on this tour and they were brilliant. You know, the Right Here Right Now live album, that's pretty much the same set that I saw them do. It's brilliant. Opens up with a brilliant Pound Cake. Now I remember seeing on stage, and Eddie comes on with his guitar and a drill, and you get that fantastic. It's a great track. Really love this one. Sammy is on fire on that one. Then we get Judgment Day. Great track. Love the riffs in this. Sammy again on fire. Spanked. Not keen on this one. This is probably one of the weaker tracks from Van Hagar. It's not brilliant. Then we get Run Around. Pleasant enough track. Really gets you in the groove. Nothing wrong with that. Pleasure Dome. This is a fantastic track. And the bass line from Michael Anthony is brilliant. The guitar solo is brilliant. Sammy, brilliant. And I remember just seeing them play this live, and it was absolutely phenomenal. In and Out, good solid track. Amazing guitar solo from Eddie. Then we get my favourite track on here, Man on a Mission. I like that quirky riff in this. It's one thing about this Van Hagar setup. It was quirky riffs, memorable riffs, and Man on the Mission is a fine example. The Dream Is Over, it's solid enough. Great vocal from Sammy. Right Now is the next track. I think this is one of the best intros of a Van Halen song ever. Very catchy tune. Again, was a big hit in America, and there's nothing wrong with it. Brilliant track. Then we get 316. Now, this is my second favourite little piece of music from Eddie Van Halen. I remember him doing this live, and he sat on the edge of where Alex had his drums, and he just sat there strumming this. And there was not a noise in I think it was at the NEC or Wembley, one of these big indoor arenas, and it was so quiet as Eddie was playing that wonderful bit of music. Then we get Top of the World, one of their radio friendly tracks, and it's a pretty awesome track. Some great riffs, great vocal from Sammy, really like that. Solid album from top to bottom. 90% of the tracks on here are fantastic. Great album. Play this one a lot. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay, then coming in at number 7. Go to the 7th album now. Released in 1986. 5150. Sammy's first album with Van Halen. So it's Sammy Hagar, Eddie Van Halen, Michael Anthony, Alex Van Halen. First track. Good enough. Well, what a way to announce yourself. Hello, babe. Great riffs on this. Love the track. Really good track. Then we got one of their biggest hits, and one of their biggest hits here in the UK, Why Can't This Be Love? I like this song. I really do. I like the start of it. The riff's good. The keyboards sound great. Sammy sounds great. Strong track. Let me get Up. Amazing piece of drumming here from Alex. Riffs from Eddie are brilliant. And then we get Dreams. Now, this may be one of the most commercial songs that Van Halen wrote, but I love it. It's so catchy. It's a song for a day like this. I mean, it's going to be really hot here today. This is a summertime song, and I just like it. One of my guilty pleasures of Van Halen. Fantastic track. Summer Nights, great opening riff here from Eddie, and one of Sammy's typical vocals. It's a terrific song. Best of Both Worlds. Second favourite track on the album. I love that riff. Alex's drum's pretty good on that as well. Then we get Love Walks In. Not a particular favourite of mine, but I do like Sammy's vocal on this. Very good. 5150. This highlights Michael Anthony's unique bass sound. Some great guitars. Brilliant. Then we get Inside. Okay, not one of my favourites, but it's solid enough. This is a very solid debut album from Sammy. Remember when it come out, you know, when I found out that Sammy was going to be taken over from David, I thought, wow, this is a good choice. I'm a big fan of Sammy Hagar, whatever he's done in his career. I know there's a lot of people that don't like him, but he's a great singer and he's wrote some great songs, and joining Van Halen for me was great. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.6. Okay, then coming in at number 6, go to the 6th album from 1984, and it is 1984. This was David Lee Roth's last album before A Different Kind of Truth, of course. So it's David Lee Roth, Eddie Van Halen, Michael Anthony and Alex Van Halen. Opens up with 1984. That little keyboard piece, which is basically the keyboard version of Eruption, which goes nicely into Jump, of course. Now, when it came out, I loved this. Got the single, but now it's one of them tracks I hear that if I never hear it again, I won't get upset. It's a damn shame because it is a very good track, but it's just overplayed now. And yeah, I mean, when I put this album on to listen to it, and I did enjoy listening to it again because it was a nice day. I had the windows open and yeah, played it quite loud. But on the whole, it's just one of them tracks. It's one of them when people say, "Oh, I like Van Halen and my favourite track is Jump." Yeah, right, okay. It's a great track, but not the best. But the next track, I think this is one of David Lee Roth's finest vocals performances, and it's Panama. Now, I was lucky enough to see in one year Van Halen and David Lee Roth, but obviously both did this song. still think Panama done by David Lee Roth was far better. It was absolutely stonking. Stevie Vai played on that and it was brilliant. It's a great track, I love it. Full stop. Let me get Top Jimmy. Love this track. I love the nice delicate guitar work from there, but it's Michael Anthony's bass and his backing vocals that are brilliant on that. It's a really good track. Drop Dead Legs, love that riff. Such a good song. Great vocal from David. Let me get my favourite track. Probably my favourite track of all time by Van Halen. Hot for Teacher. This is boombastic. For a start, you get that great drum intro from Alex. You get the great guitar bit, then you get the little licks from Eddie, the bass line, and then a solid track. If it's not my favourite, it's probably a top 3 track. I'm very hard to work out my favourite Van Halen tracks, but that's up there. It's a brilliant track. Then we get All Way. I don't like this. It's that keyboard. It's not mixed very well. Not a favourite of me. Girl Gone Bad. It's okay. I like the guitar solo on it, but the mix just sounds bad. The mix. It's not very good. House of Pain's very good. Great solid track. Don't mind this. Great album. Few hits were on this, but I think what lets this down is the production. It's not some of the songs like Old White Girl, Good Girl Gone Bad, really good songs, but how they mix them was good. I listened to the remaster on this and it still doesn't sound good, them tracks. The rest of the album sound brilliant, but it's the last few tracks on side 2 that really, them 2 tracks on side 2 that really let it down. But still a great album. Played it a lot in 1984. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.8. Okay, then coming in at number 5, we go to the 8th album, released in 1988, and it's OU 812. Sammy, Hagar, Eddie Van Halen, Michael Anthony and Alex Van Halen. Opens up with Mine or Mine. Probably my favourite track Sammy did with Van Halen. I love that keyboard start. Then you get that great guitar solo on it, and the harmonies on this are brilliant. It is a brilliant song. Love it to death. Then we get When Is It When It's Love. I like this song again. Another one of their sort of radio friendly hits, but it's a solid track. I love the keyboard bit in this. The harmonies are brilliant. It's such a great song. Then we get AFU, Naturally Wired. Alex's drum on this is brilliant, especially at the start. You get them great riffs from Eddie. Sammy's singing is brilliant on this. Great track. Then we get Carbo Warbo. Love the effect you get on the guitar on this. I reckon this is probably one of Sammy's best vocals on a Van Halen album. It's a terrific song. Then we get Source of Infection. It's one of them fast and furious Van Halen songs. Alex's drums are brilliant. Guitar work from Eddie is fantastic, and Sammy delivers a fine vocal on that. Feels So Good. Love Eddie's keyboards on this. It's got that really nice sound on it and a great vocal from Sammy. Then we get another brilliant track, Finish What You Started. It's such a catchy tune, and the harmonies are in this and are great. And then you get the guitar sound that Eddie gets on this, terrific. Black and Blue, sorry. Love the bass line from Michael Anthony on this. It is terrific. Again, great solo from Eddie. Sucker in a 3-piece. Absolutely brilliant. Great vocal from Sammy. Michael Anthony's bass is hot on this as well. Great way to end the album. This is the best album from Van Hagar. I think it's got some of Sammy's best vocals he did with the band. It's a solid album from top to bottom. I think this is when the incarnation of Van Halen was at its peak. I mean, the other two albums the other ones were good, but they never really peaked after this one, because this is absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Okay, this is when we started to struggle, because we're coming to the top 4, and all 4 of these albums are just brilliant. It was hard, but this is what I've gone with today. So coming in at number 4, we have that second album from 1979, Van Halen II. So it's David Lee Roth, Eddie Van Halen, Michael Anthony and Alex. First track on this is You're No Good. Real classic start here. Nice thumpy bass from Michael Anthony. Alex's drums are on fire. Terrific track. Dance the Night Away. Play this track a lot. I love it. The guitar work is brilliant, and David's vocals are on this are pretty awesome. Then we get Somebody Get Me a Doctor. Solid track. The riffs in this are brilliant. Again, Alex's drumming is brilliant, and David's vocals are crazy on this. Absolutely brilliant. Bottoms Up. Another track that's really dominated by Michael Anthony's bass line and his backing vocals. It's terrific. Really good song. Out of Love Again. It's an okay track. Not particularly favourite of mine on this album, but it's still okay. Then we get my favourite track, Light Up the Sky. I love this. I just love that bass line. And you get some great guitar work from Eddie on this solid track. And we get another of these little fantastic instrumentals from Eddie called Spanish Fly. This shows how good he is on an acoustic guitar, and it really sounds good. DOA, another classic track from Van Halen. Again, it's dominated by Michael Anthony's bass line, followed by some great work from Eddie on this. Women in Love, probably the weakest track on the album, not my favourite. And Beautiful Girls, yeah, it's a bit of a filler for me. Doesn't do much for me. Very strong album. Very strong. Got some great tracks on here, some classic tracks. But I don't think it had the same impact as that debut album. But it's an enjoyable album. I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 9.2. Okay then. I need a drink because it's really thirsty work today. Okay then, coming in at number 3, we have the third album released in 1980, Women and Children First. David Reloff, his vocals, and he plays acoustic guitar on Could This Be Magic. Eddie Van Halen, Michael Anthony, Alex Van Halen. And they've got some additional musicians on here. Nicole Larson backing vocals on Could This Be Magic. So the first track on here is And the Cradle Will Rock. This is a classic song from Van Halen. I love the Star. Best album song on the album. Definitely a top 10 song by Van Halen. Brilliant stuff. Everyone Wants Some. Another track again. This is Michael Anthony at his best. Him and Eddie work well on that track. Fools, like this. I like that finger picking from Eddie at the beginning, and it's a great vocal from David. Brilliant track. Romeo Delight. Love the riff on this. It's one of them riffs that stays in your head. But Alex's drumming on this is great. David is brilliant singing. Then we get a little short piece called Tora Tora. Little piece with Alex and Eddie and Michael just having some fun. Lost of Control, really heavy track, probably one of their heaviest tracks they ever put together. Great drumming from Alex. Take Your Whiskey Home, love the start of this. But it's David's vocal deliverance on this is really brilliant, and an electrifying solo here from Eddie Van Halen. Could this be magic? It's a bluegrass sort of song, and I don't particularly like it. It's alright, but it's not the best track on the album. It's in a simple rhyme, really nice vocal from David. This is the sort of stuff you'd probably get later in David's solo career. It's one of them tracks that this sound appears on them. And yes, we are going to be doing David Lee Roth at some stage, so don't worry. It's not a bad way to end the album. It's got a good solo on it as well. This is a great album. Some of the tracks on here are fast and heavy. Some of them are a little bit, but it doesn't spoil this album really. It is a strong album, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.4. Okay, then coming in at number 2, we have the fourth album, released in 1981, the one with the weirdest cover, Fair Warning. David, Alex, Michael and Eddie. Opens up with Mean Street. Love that start from that lick from Eddie. Love the crisp drums from Alex on this. It's a great song, great solo. Dirty Movies. David is absolutely mega on this. The drumming from Alex is superb as well. And it's got one of them bass lines that really drive the song. Excellent song. Sinner Swing. Fast Furious drumming from Alex. Great riffs from Eddie. The classic Van Halen sound. Great vocal performance from David. And again, Michael doing bass. Sounds great. Hear About It Later. The backing vocals are on the brilliant on this. Michael Anthony was such such a big part of this band, and it's a shame that he didn't play on that last album, and A Different Kind of Truth, to be quite honest. They certainly missed him on that. I think he is probably the most important person in the band. That great bass line that he comes up with, the great backing vocals, and he does it so good on that track. Then we get a classic, my favourite, Unchained. Great guitar effects here, and again Michael Anthony's bass line is so important on this track. Brilliant track. Push Comes to Shove, a little bit funky, and you can sort of see where Extreme got their ideas from, because it's very funky, that sort of funky rock, and I love that track. So This Is Love, again it's a great bass line from Michael. Drumming from Alex is brilliant, and what more can you ask for? Sunday Afternoon in the Park. This is weird, but again it's Michael Anthony that's brilliant. 1 Foot Out the Door. There's so many tracks on there that are dominated by Michael Anthony's bass line. Great vocal from David, solid track. I love this album. This is Michael Anthony's best album that he did with Van Halen. The bass lines on all these tracks are incredible. Apart from the one track, which I'm not very keen on, the rest of the album is just brilliant. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.5. So, coming in at number 1, it had to be, hadn't it? I think that if I hadn't put this at number 1, I think there'd have been a riot. But it's a number 1 for a damn good reason, because it is brilliant. And of course, I'm talking about the debut album from 1978, Van Halen. Probably one of the greatest debut albums ever. Opens up with Running with the Devil. And this is just a classic, isn't it? That great opening riff. Then the bass line from Michael, and then you get this amazing vocal from David. It is a stonking track, and I love this track today as much as I did when I first heard it. Then we get that thing called Eruption. Well, the first time you hear this, I remember when I heard it. It was what? Oh, how old was I in '78? 12, something like that. It just blew me away. And then we just knew that Eddie Van Halen was a guitar god. Everyone tries to play it. There's only one man that'll ever play this, and that was Eddie Van Halen. I mean, people try and do it now as a tribute, and you know, they do a fine job. It shows that Eddie had such an influence on anyone, but this on its own got you in. This and the next track really got me into Van Halen big time. And then the next track, of course, is a great version of the Kinks' "You Really Got Me." Brilliant. Same sort of way the original does, but a lot heavier. It's just brilliant. Then we get Ain't Talking About Love, another classic Van Halen track. Love this track. This is brilliant. On the one of the tracks that's not so well known, unless you love this album. It's a great track. The guitar work from Eddie on this is brilliant. Alex's drumming is on fire. Brilliant stuff. Then we get Jamie's Crying, another great track. The bass line from Michael Anthony is absolutely brilliant, and great singing from David and Michael. Atomic Punk. Love the start of this. That nice sound from Eddie, little crisp bits, the cymbals from Alex, Michael's bass line, terrific. Feel Your Love Tonight, solid track, great rocker, great vocal from David. Little Dreamer, great song. The best bit of this song is absolutely that opening riff. Amazing. And then we get one of my favourite little quirky songs from Van Halen. It's Ice Cream Man. It's an old blues song written by John Brim, 1953. I like how the start this, it sounds very much like the original, and then all of a sudden Van Halen took this song to another level. Absolutely brilliant, and I love this song. Can't get enough of it. I like the nonsense of it. I just like everything about it. It's just a great version of the song. On Fire, the last track, great track to end the album. The bass is brilliant. The screeches from David are great, and perfect stuff from Eddie Van Halen on the guitar, just showing what, wow, you just can't get enough of this. This is just one of those perfect albums, isn't it? Great debut album. Every track is brilliant, even the two covers. I mean, as I remember the first time hearing this album all the way through, it just blew my head away. There was nothing else like it, and it still remains one of my favourite albums of all time. It's definitely one of my top. If I was to do a top 20 of my favourite albums, because I couldn't just do a top 10, one day I might do. It's got to be 10 out of 10 for this, because it's just a great album, brilliant stuff. Okay, well that's part 2 of Sammy done. Next week is part 3, and we're going to be looking at Sammy's solo albums, which are some pretty good ones in there. So that's next week. But today we've got a classic album, and for the first time on the channel we're going to look at a little bit of grunge, and it's an album that is pretty good, and it is Super Unknown by Soundgarden. And then just a reminder, one for your diaries, 4th of August, it is a Thursday at 8 PM. The live streams will be up and running again. Everything's going good with my Bell palsy. Everything's really good now. Talking properly, eating properly. Still got a few issues with the eye, but on the whole I am fit and well and ready to do live streams again. So 4th of August, 8 PM, British summertime. I'll be here. Mastermind Dave will be back, and of course the one that everyone seems to be missing more than me is Rocky. Rocky will be here. He's, as it's hot today, he is under the computer. He's got lots of water and he's got a little cool mat. He's okay, because I know one or two of you have been asking about him, and I mean, it's what, 9 o'clock in the morning here in UK as I'm recording this, and it's 19 degrees now. It's going to get up to 38 today, which I'm okay. I've been in temperatures of that before. Anyway, that's enough of me waffling on. I'll be back later with classic album, so I'll speak to you then. Bye for now.